It's locked, all right.
Come on, you bastard! You can do better than that! Nah, it's my turn!
Rotten or pristine, each heart contains the seeds of life. Drink at this river, try it all.
Bastard gave me a good poke. Oh, come on, you bastard! I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse!
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
Alright, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
No more. Not tonight. Not like this. I will not take another life.
What? What happened? Whoa, I feel giddy. Did I black out?
It is wise for the huntsman to sometimes let his prey go, but no famished hunter can run for long.
It's locked. It's locked, all right. Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially
A colleague?
not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana.
What do you mean? You used to be a...
No, sir. It is just that I like to...
Are you afraid or uneasy?
Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have a respect, for dead flesh.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself.
How did you get this job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many an unpleasant business there.
Do you need medical attention?
I'm feeling all right, Doctor. But perhaps it is because I, too, am used to the smell of the dead.
Do you need medical attention?
I'm feeling all right, Doctor. But
Do you work here alone?
yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is...
Why do you have to watch these bodies?
because these poor fellows have no names.
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers...
Have we met before?
I don't think so.
When we first talked, you said you were glad.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here.
Have we met?
I don't think so.
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago. You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
A pawnbroker?
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind...
Who comes here to trade with you?
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been at...
What kind of good?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No. I believe we must do all the good we...
Do you think you would enjoy immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love
Do you really believe goodwill?
As I said, sir, everything decays. If I was to never die, goodness, I would be bored or worse. And I like...
Quite depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but the good news is...
So you're ready to die?
No, I am not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me is the pain...
You're a wise man.
No, Dr. Reed, I am a foolish man. But...
Please show me one.
Of course. It's just trinkets. Good evening, Doc.
Please show me one.
Of course.
I cannot enter.
I'm sorry.
These men, they're a company of professional vampire hunters. It's locked, all right. Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody...
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I found a wounded man by the docks. He answers to the name of Clay Cox. He requires urgent medical attention.
Already making the rounds? That's the Pembroke spirit. I'll ask our porter, Milton, to bring him back immediately.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
I would like to ask a few questions. And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor
What kind of...
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon.
If you could point me in the...
Second floor of the hospital, left up...
Thank you, Nurse Crane. Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous...
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before. At the...
Dr. Tippett's, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his...
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusions.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation?
This hospital is not exactly the best of London.
It's more than enough. In any case, the...
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just...
What can you tell me about...
Some are really good, and others are not so...
Tell me more about...
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and...
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now and again.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett. Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read...
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected...
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is...
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's...
An invisible enemy?
Sorry, Doctor. These last few...
Do you think this hospital can survive?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold...
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet.
Brilliant professionals, most of them.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Is there anyone that...
Well, I have never met someone as...
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you said...
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
Why does Dr. Tippett claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Goodbye, nurse.
My sweet girl. Reads me like a book. Never.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed.
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see.
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about yourself.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable, and your colleagues seem to...
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think... Tell me about the doctors who are arguing.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is, I disagreed about wooden nails.
You seem worried about the safety of your family. And it's obviously the reason why your wound...
I cannot give up on my children now.
What about their mother, if I may ask?
She died in 1915 during one of the first Zeppelin raids. We never...
Tell me more about the death...
1915. I was in the army, building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target.
I'm sorry for your loss.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is,
How are your children?
they were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick.
Oh, sweet girl. Reads me like a book. I never could keep anything from her.
I'm all right.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly.
Does my arrival inconvenience...
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Aykroyd, please feel free to...
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not...
Aren't you too old for such jealousy?
Don't be ridiculous, Dr. Reed. A simple glance is enough for me to know you have nothing for me to...
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me...
Let's just say I'm tired of the
Carelessness? Exactly.
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing...
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to...
I don't know what you've heard about me, but
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed.
And what exactly is that?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern...
Be careful what you insinuate.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theory.
This is ridiculous.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. You avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing reality.
It seems you have bad memories of your men.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something. Thank you for your...
What can I do for you, Doctor?
Thank you, Nut.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time.
Good evening, madam. Can I...
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick.
What can you tell me?
Not much to say. Just take...
Are you really that rich?
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he
May I ask if...
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
What do you think of your...
I have had the uttermost reservations about this
Is there something in particular that's bothering you? Tell me more about your arrival at the
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief.
She charged you?
Yes, and I paid without question.
I share your concern, Mrs. Gott.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Time with me.
This hospital seems to be falling apart. But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
No,
Really? Why are you...
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is...
Yes. And
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer.
How painful.
So painful, I'd rather not.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and...
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just...
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here?
My mother just wants the best for me. She...
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I cannot...
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured, you're in...
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed.
How
So
I'll let you get...
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Good evening, Doctor. How...
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
I'm all right.
Good evening, Mr.
I'm okay.
Tell me about you.
I don't want to talk.
I have to go now.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Nice, sweet girl. Reads me like a book.
Still how can we be sure we're making a difference?
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going...
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune.
Thank you.
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland.
Please, could you tell me something
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning...
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by you.
I'll give you some advice, but understand that nothing beats practical experience, which can be exhausting and...
Of course, sir. And don't worry.
I based my technique on my...
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful. You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
What can you tell me?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and...
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resist.
True. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling.
Do you need help with...
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my...
Do you want me to play the...
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time. What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced...
With the influenza and all that's going on.
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of...
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he...
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with...
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him? Or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me, Mr. Fiddick.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological...
Goodbye, Dr. Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Doctor.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey.
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot...
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children...
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Ellen. As for me...
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland. Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa...
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr.
Well, it's a euphemism that...
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst us.
You must get a hold of you.
Sorry, I'm exhausted.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic...
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning.
I don't like your attitude, Nurse Hawkins. Pessimism can be as lethal as the epidemic in times like these.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse...
How is the Pembroke staff?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why is Milton grumpy?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Why does Milton dislike...
I don't know. Just ask him.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of...
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory.
Are you thinking about something...
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously...
Why do you?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
If you are going to lead this surgery...
I'm not the kind of man who runs away from his
And are you...
rivalry?
Thank you for your time. It's locked. It's locked. It's locked, all right. I cannot enter. This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin. William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching. The sun is about the flowers dying. It needs water. If I'm to stay here until my research is complete, I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood? Stay here until my research is complete. I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood?
Dr. Swansea asked me to collect you, Dr. Reed. Hurry up!
I cannot enter. Yes, Nurse Crane?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping that...
What type of hospital are you running? No antiseptics?
You have been away too long, Doctor. With the war and now this epidemic, supplies have been running scarce for months now.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemicals...
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored...
Perhaps I should look there first. Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way then. Thank you, nurse.
Here again.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you? I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight...
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am.
Please, describe to me how you...
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of pustulant blood within my drying veins.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul. Or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is our...
I'm assuming you must be a patient.
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me, for I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal, but do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming...
It was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities. Good evening, Dr. Tibbets.
Dr. Reed, any good news to
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think...
No. We must keep on healing all the...
You've nothing to prove, Dr. Tibbets, to anybody. And
I am perfectly fine, and I am not too old for...
You're
No.
You've nothing...
I am
Goodbye, Dr. Tibbets. Good evening, sir. I'm Dr.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the...
I'm not sure I understand.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war and have carried...
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
How is the situation?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything, and it's getting worse every day.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I'll bring...
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing here. I escaped through the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital? That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting...
Why do you have such a mediocre reputation among your colleagues, Milton?
Fuck them. Nobody knows the horrors I've seen since working here. This city was sick long before the epidemic, Doctor.
I know it's a difficult task, but correct me if...
I've seen babies left to die while their brothers were properly fed. Underage girls and boys sold to all manner of perverts.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, exactly. We lack words. So excuse me if I don't look on the bright side of life.
Tell me why you're extorting.
If a patient wants a bed, he'll have to pay me a little fee. That's all.
Where did you get the idea for such an immoral scam?
Funny you should ask. The first time it was from a patient who bribed me to get a bed. It's only then I realized I could make a fortune.
I have some good news, Milton.
What? The epidemic's over?
I retrieved your wallet. With all the money, and...
Well, yeah, Pippa Hawkins is my girl. So what? Is it the difference of skin colour that bothers you?
Not at all, Milton.
Good. Please, take this money anyway. To remind you to keep your mouth shut. Not everybody is as broad-minded as you, Dr. Reed.
Admit it. Nurse Hawkins is more than your lover. She's also your partner in crime.
Of course she is. How else could I tell which bed is free? I need to know that.
Have you no shame?
Don't you see this city is crumbling down? Today people are ready to pay to get a hospital bed. Tomorrow we may be fighting for food.
What's going on between you?
Pippa's tired. Tired of all this shit. Tired of all...
You do realize you could both get fired. Hospital staff are not meant to have intimate relationships with one another.
Come on, Dr. Reed. Do you know how many rules are broken in this hospital every day just to keep it running? There's nothing wrong with...
During the war, I witnessed a few couples.
Maybe you're right. But we
I'd like to see your...
Wise choice, Dr. Reed.
Best be moving on. way back, sir.
Sir! Step away now! When did you join the guard? Stay close, keep an eye on each other. This is my first patrol. Let's see how it likes a bit of fuck his boss! bloody monster! Yeah!
It's locked, all right.
More and more of these bloody leeches every night. Aye, but the guards recruit more and more every year. When did you join the guard? 2 days ago. This is my first patrol. More and more of these bloody leeches every night. Aye, but the guards recruit more and more every year. When did you join the guard?
Look at it! Stop it now, Albert, stop it!
Me? I'll not die in some piss-stinking alley drinking worse than a week-old lavvy.
Are you all right?
The bastard at the wall next to me. I don't even know if he meant to miss.
If you've been hurt, I can help you. I'm a doctor.
Name's Albert. Remember it. Now bugger off.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from...
Never heard of her. She's pretty, I'll keep an eye out.
What happened? Did you really steal that man's medication?
Hey, I didn't do anything, it ain't me.
Medication and drugs are a rare commodity in East London. So you picked an easy target, didn't you?
Sod off, mister. You ain't got no clue what's going on here. Bastard was a soldier in the war, so now he's got the right to shoot me.
It's true. I'm not familiar with this part of town. Perhaps you could help me.
I said sod off. Go find your...
I found the recruiter you were expecting. He's dead, but he carried a note. The Wet Boot Boys have accepted your application.
I knew it! I told you I was tough enough. I'll be...
Free? You may soon find out that you have simply traded one set of shackles for another.
You're all fancy words, none of which concern me. Go worry about someone else. I'm fine and I've a future here.
Goodbye, young man.
The Wet Boots will be proud of me.
What? Shooting a boy in the middle of the street. Not the best thing to do, wouldn't you say?
What? You saw what happened?
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you promise me to set your gun aside.
No. Look, I'm not a violent man. I'm Benjamin...
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane?
It's funny, I've been searching for her too.
Really? And why is that?
Word is she ain't real. She's a cover for some doctor who runs an illegal dispensary for migrants.
What can you tell me about this place?
Nothing to say, really. This is where I used to live.
You mean you used to have...
Yeah, I had a wife, a home, and a job. I even used to have a name. Now I'm just Ben.
You don't have anywhere to go? No...
Not since the death of my wife. Albert's mother. She was sick.
Perhaps you could focus.
I'm sick, broke, and my son just stole...
Whatever the boy did, I'm sure he...
I swear I didn't want to hit him. It's just that...
What is it, Benjamin? It was...
The doctors called me a liar.
What about those we left behind, face down in the mud? You want to change places with them? You cannot waste your chance at life this way.
It's not that simple. I wouldn't have expected you to understand. I don't even know why I spoke to you in the first place.
What is it?
The doctors...
What about the...
It's not...
A gun?
I won't end up another drunk arsehole littering the streets. Not me. Me? I'll not die in some piss-stinking alley drinking worse than a week-old lavvy.
I cannot enter.
boots will be proud of me.
This is despicable. I have this thirst for blood. Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a...
Actually...
Then you have come to the right place.
Oh, really? Why didn't I... Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital?
I don't like to talk about
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
Tell me, who intrigues you most in Whitechapel?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives away her flowers.
Is there anyone I should have...
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants as soon as they get here.
What do you think of the locals?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine...
When science fails you, this elixir will give you faith again.
It's locked. Nobody at home. It's locked, all right.
Smells like rock. Steady, boy! What's it? It's a killer!
I prefer not to give you another beating, Barrett.
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first.
I'm not a journalist. I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say?
Really? But still, here I am.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine, and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick.
Could you please tell me more?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help.
May I ask what you do?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
According to you, physician...
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you?
This part of town does have quite a reputation.
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before...
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Welcome, sir. Please.
I am Dr. Reed.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
Have you heard of a...
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse, then? I always thought she was just some
So she's trying to help her fellow immigrants. Why would that make her a villain?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the...
That doesn't explain why she irritates...
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted...
How is business around here?
Business? I have no business.
I see. Sounds like...
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the...
What you mean besides the epidemic, the war?
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell.
Violence is in...
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out...
Where did this happen?
In the closed workshops nearby. I work there as an...
Goodbye for now.
You again?
How did you become the local bully?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well, too.
A job? So you're...
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
Most people don't become thugs when unemployed. This is a choice you made.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrack.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
You again?
Can I offer you my medical expertise, Mr. Peterson?
The name is Colossus Joe.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Fancy bye.
You never... Joe Peterson. He's the...
I've known Joe for years. I saw him box once or twice.
What can you tell me about Mr. Peterson? Besides his behavior toward you, obviously.
Colossus Joe was a decent boxer, good one even. But after his wife passed away, he found every excuse to stop training. Just wanted to pick fights with everyone.
It's never easy to find a new path in life.
We've all had some rough times, ain't we? But most of us don't use our fists to see us.
And no one has ever...
Nobody will be fool enough to stand against the Wet Boot Boy.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Lewis.
Where's my money?
Cheap price, good quality.
Forgive my interruption. I am Dr. Jonathan...
A scientist? You are much more like...
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the...
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses. But I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane?
Before coming to London.
So, you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work?
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male.
What do you mean when you say that I am...
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences. And most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask.
But you are seeking answer.
I am. But the answer's... What do you...
All
quite a...
But you...
Well,
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu...
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Really? And what would be...
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left? Tell me, Tobias. What...
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified.
Purification by fire has proved...
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time talker.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that...
Joseph, a fool.
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people...
What do you mean?
All signs...
Quite a judgment...
Well, you...
Well,
as a doctor...
What do you mean?
The beast...
I have heard it... Good evening.
It's far...
Have you any...
No.
You sent him on some preach...
As a true believer. Samuel...
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
I have heard enough.
Soon the time will come when you will all be judged for your sins. Even now, he judges.
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town?
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan...
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza?
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
If no one stops it, this epidemic could...
Yes, this is another kind of war, but just as deadly. History will judge us all for what we did and what we did.
What is a journalist doing in this borough?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedy.
That's quite honorable of you.
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Have you any idea of the...
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
I'm convinced there is more.
Really? To be honest, I could say the same. Some of the sick I saw or heard of. My God, what happened to them?
Goodbye, Mr.
I'm cheap and I'm...
Burn it, boys! Want some of that?
This could be the box Lewis thought he lost. There's a letter inside. A love letter from Joe Peterson's wife, addressed to Barrett Lewis. Who should I give it to, I wonder?
Joe, please, I don't have your money.
Come on, Barrett, you know the game. You pay for peace of mind.
Can't you just look the other...